My teammates suck. If you've been playing Valorant for any amount of time, you've probably heard some variant of that phrase, or maybe even said it yourself. I know I've heard it a countless number of times from comments, friends, and even myself. But why is it that this is such a common go-to? It's because we tend to remember the bad things. We don't go around saying the enemy's team sucks, so I ranked up. Here's where I like to introduce the 20-60-20 concept. The first 20 represents the 20% of the games you'll play that will result in a loss due to things outside of your control. Things like someone on your team DCing, your teammates having a bad game, you have a thrower on your team, the enemy team smurfing, and more. This is where saying it's your teammate's fault or the enemy had a smurf is okay because it's true. There's a caveat to that though, and I'll talk more about it after I go over the rest of the 20-60-20 concept. The 60% will be the bulk of your games. These games will be fair games, matched evenly between your team and the enemies. The outcome of these games will depend on you. And I'm not just talking about top fragging. The amount of impact you have in a game is more than just kills. Think of other things other than just frags. Stuff like utility, communications, stratting, etc. Look at this game for example. While I had double my second frag's kills, it's not my team's fault we lost. It was a close game being 9-13. That game I was feeling really tired and got lazy with my comms. This led to my teammates dying from places where I knew an enemy was and me not coordinating team play with my teammates. It's these little things that amount to a couple of rounds that makes a difference between a win or a loss. The last 20% is the inverse of the first 20%. These 20% of your games will be easy wins due to things once again outside of your control. Things like the enemy team being boosted, you having a smurf on your team, the enemy team DCing, and other things like that. This 20% is often overlooked. Players just take their free RR and queue another game without giving it much thought. If you think about the 20-60-20 concept, it should be clear that the 220 should cancel out roughly. A game where you lost due to a DC will pay itself back with a game where you get a smurf on your team eventually. That means if you want to climb, you should focus on maximizing your win rate in the 60% of your games where your performance matters. This means working to improve yourself as a player. Blaming smurfs, throwers, and bad teammates as the reason you're not climbing is actually only blaming something that only roughly affects 20% of your games. This mentality also makes it so it's always someone else's fault and you thinking that you're perfect, which leads to games feeling very RNG based and you not working to improve yourself. Every game of Valorant, you play with 4 random teammates and 5 random enemies. The only thing that stays consistent in all of your games is you. If you're constantly losing, you're the common factor. Have a mentality for improvement, not saving your ego.